Emily, congratulations. I was able to see this film a few weeks ago.
Cool.
Oh my God, I was completely, first of all, congratulations, blown away by
Thank
your
you.
performance. You were
Oh, thank you.
absolutely extraordinary. But the first thing that bothered me was, how do I not know about Mildred Burke?
That's the first thing that bothered me.
Okay, so was she, I wanted to ask you if she had been on your radar at all before you were even approached.
I didn't know anything about her. And so when I ended up with the script, that was my first thought. I was reading it in the kitchen next to my partner, and I like sort of closed the laptop and I was like, "Do you know who this woman is?" No, like, how come we don't know who this woman is? So just diving into the internet, figuring out who she was, really before I had really signed on to be a part of her story,
Yeah.
um, was what fueled me really to be a part of this because I was like, I'm so fascinated in who she is. That feels like we need to tell this story, her legacy, and kind of bring her back to life.
Yeah, what a trailblazer. My God. Like,
I know.
oh man, kudos to her for everything that she went through. But I don't know about you, but when I was a little girl, the one thing I'm not really a huge wrestling fan, whatever, but my grandfather was. And I remember
Cool.
like my best memories were sitting on his lap and watching all the
Oh,
wrestling matches. It's like here I am a million years later. And so one thing I remember. So are you
that's
a
so cool.
wrestling fan? Is it something that really gets you going?
I didn't know anything about wrestling at the time, but now since I've sort of been indoctrinated into this world and the
Yeah.
pros that taught me,
Yeah.
really, I don't know, I'm just kind of fascinated by now. I feel such a welcome and such a privilege to be there that I follow Camille, I follow Tony, I follow Trinity, Al Snow, and yeah, just feeling really blessed. Sorry,
Yeah.
Bonnie. One sec.
It's okay. It's okay. No problem.
Okay,
Doggy
good
break. Doggy
job.
break.
She's well fed. That's Bonnie, so unprofessional of me.
Oh, please. It's okay, Emily. I'm very chill. It's all good.
She's my baby, though. I had to.
Listen, you got to take care of your baby. Trust me. I mean, if I had a kid here, I'd be letting him scream his head off. But no, no, I'm
The
joking.
bowl
I'm
was
joking.
getting the bowl was getting closer and closer to a broom, and I was like, "Oh, she hates brooms. That broom is gonna really scare her now."
Oh,
But
well, we have to see her. Is she big? Is she a big one or is she little? Oh my gosh, she's so sweet.
yeah,
Oh,
kind of a mess. We're renovating at the moment, so don't
that's
mind
okay. That's
my
okay.
hidden office.
All good, all good. Okay, so then you take on the role and you're like, okay, you've committed, and then you're like, do I need to be committed? Like, oh my God, what the like how you had to prepare. So let's
Yeah.
first start off with preparing your body
Yeah.
because wow, like your muscles, like wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't have the muscle that she had, and nor do I have it anymore. There
Yeah.
it was really, important to kind of find that muscular body just really for believability. But it became very apparent that um, to sort of channel her energetically and find out who she was, that muscle was also very important because she walked around the world so differently than I did. Her shoulders, because of her back muscles, were more
Yes.
rigid and back, and her legs were so muscular, it makes her energy a lot lower. And so my not only, changing my physicality just really helped me find her spine.
Right.
And with my acting coach early on in Andrew McElroy, when I was trying to figure out certain scenes and like what the through line was in a sense, he told me, he's like, just be patient. You don't have her muscle yet. Like you don't know how she navigates, right? And kind of how we use our bodies is how we navigate the world. It even affects our conversation. So
Mhm.
interesting. Just a little impassioned about acting there. But
Yeah.
to put on this type of muscle, lots of chicken breast, lots of weights. I had a team of people, I think that that's important. I had experts that, helped me build this body. We had 3 months before we went to camera, which really isn't very long.
Yeah.
Um,
That's for sure.
yeah, I highly recommend, especially women, lifting weights. The muscle that you gain at any age is the muscle that keeps you upright in your 80s. It's just so important. Stuff we know now that, Mildred didn't know really then. She was just
Yeah.
putting on muscle. Even when it wasn't en vogue, women weren't in the gym, women weren't muscular.
Of course.
She was just doing it because she was like, I want to use my body in this way. And I'm so inspired by that. So my team here, Dr. Diego Bottizelli and Thomas Taylor, both trainers, Diego's also a nutritionist, built a program for me. Lots of
Hmm.
chicken breast, like I said, lots of protein, heavy weights, no cardio. And
Mm,
then that brought us all the way to Louisville, Kentucky, which sort of now involved the wrestling component,
right.
which would kind of bring in the a little bit of cardio, but the idea was to not stress the body so much that it would eat away at the muscle you built, right? So we had to balance that with nutrition and making sure you're getting the right nutrients and things like that. Nutrition's such a big part of it because even with all that training, I was eating way more food than I ever had before. I was never
Mm,
hungry.
mm,
The soreness of my muscles wasn't a soreness that felt like, I don't know, that wasn't necessary, like I
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
lethargic from it because you're getting all the nutrients that you need to put on that muscle. So high recommend for anyone
Cool.
who's going into
Okay,
that.
good, good. That's good to know. But then you get
Yeah.
into the ring and you're actually doing these moves
Yeah.
and stuff, and then you're bouncing off the ropes. And I can't imagine that that's not painful too. Like,
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, the
right?
ropes are I think the most painful part because they're kind of like an annoying pain. I sort of describe like taking a bump as meaningful pain. You're like, oh yeah, that one kind of felt good. Feels like a badge. Whereas like running into the ropes kind of just was like annoying. You're like, oh, I don't want that. And it's a
Yeah.
bruise you remember later and you're like, ow, please don't hug me.
Right, right. It's just amazing to watch you transform. I mean, really, honestly, what a
Oh, thank you,
performance.
buddy.
And then there's
And
the
then,
personal of Mildred and what
yeah,
she goes through on that side too. Okay, so she's a single mom. She is
yep,
extremely devoted to her son, no question about it. And then she meets Billy Wolf, hello,
yep,
played by Josh Lucas, who's great in the film, by the way, too.
really.
And look, he starts off her career, he's got his agenda and all that, but then she's got to endure that physical abuse and everything.
Yep.
So I just was like, how on earth did this woman stay so freaking strong? Uh,
Yeah, and if you once you sort of go and see the film and there's just so much more to her life. The script is based off the book Sex, Muscles, and Diamonds by Jeff Lean. So if you did really
yes,
enjoy her story of the film, I really encourage people to go and read the book because there is so much more that we can't fit in a film.
yeah,
But her life, she suffered a lot of tragedy. Our film and our telling, I think, is the telling that she would have been proud of and wanted, and it is a very uplifting story. But she suffered a lot of tragedy and violence, and to be who she was, to keep going, speaks volumes. She is. It's a power and a strength and a devotion to, I think, not only preserving herself, but surviving in a way that she would still be proud of,
mm,
surviving in a way where she doesn't lose a part of herself along the way. She stayed, who she was in a woman who was growing. She didn't let bruises kind of take a piece of them with her when they healed. She kind of wore them and grabbed onto them and was like, okay, let's keep going.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I honor her for that. I want to hold her for that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I am constantly inspired by her, every time we sort of speak about her in this way.
Yeah, she's really, truly an amazing film. A woman. I mean, I wondered during your training or just getting to know maybe other female wrestlers. Of course, obviously, worked with a few of them. Um, do they look up to Mildred, like, somebody like a Trish Stratus, or I mean, just anybody who is female in this world now? Do they kind of hold her as like a god? But you know what I mean, like an inspiration. I can't imagine that they don't.
I think so. A lot of the women wrestlers that I have spoken to, knew, I've heard the name and knew of her, but I really do think that this film sort of reignites a really personal link to her story. And I find that speaking to the women wrestlers who have watched, that there's like a reignition in the holding of the torch, a recognition that the privilege that the platform that we as women get to stand on today is because of women like Mildred and very much because of Mildred, especially in the wrestling community.
Yeah,
Um, and I think, they've all carried that torch and it's sort of a reminder of, oh yeah, we're still carrying this. And I think that
yeah.
that's been really um, honorable to see, as well as sort of it reminds me to do the same thing. And I think this story can do that, and that's a really special piece of Mildred's legacy.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, like I said, I mean, I could talk to you for an hours. You were just so good in this. Honestly, I didn't think it was in my wheelhouse, like, oh, wrestling movie, but wow, was I captivated from beginning to end.
Yeah.
What a story, what a woman, and we really need to get her story out there. So thank
Yes,
you.
please.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and say hi to your little doggy for me.
I
And
will. Oh, Bonnie, thanks so much. It's so nice to talk to you.
so
You
nice
feel
to
like
talk
a
to
family
you too,
member. I feel
Emily.
like I know you.
Oh, listen, let's get to, you come visit us in Toronto, and
I
I'll take
will.
coffee downtown. I promise. It would be
I
my
love that.
honor.
Please. Oh, thank you so much. I would love
Great,
that.
Emily. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.